What's the worst decision you've witnessed somebody make completely consciously? Get their cheating BF's name tattooed on them. She thought it would be the ultimate proof of how much she loved him. She figured if she did that he'd stay with her and be faithful. He dropped something into the fat fryer and then reached in to get it. I wonder if I could knee myself in the head. He could. My stepmom was an accountant. One of her clients had a roofing business and his 23 years old son was working with him. The son won a lottery prize of $1,000 each week. For life. Life. In this case. Equals for 25 years. You can, however, choose to get a $600k lump sum payment. The guy brought his son to my stepmom. They had a discussion about his winnings, what he planned to do, etc. Don't worry, Dad. He took the lump sum, left his job, bought a brand new Hummer, expensive clothes, trips, etc. Went back to work with his dad 2 years later. I mean it's more complicated than that. $0. 6M right now might be worth more than $1. 3M over 25 years once you factor in inflation. The stupid part was spending it all. Suicide jump into traffic over a traffic ticket. Former prosecutor here. Had a solid case against a guy charged with aggravated murder. He had a very good lawyer who advised him to take a reasonable plea. He declined. Fired his lawyer. And decided to represent himself in the trial. It was like watching someone get slowly run over by a train. 50-plus-year-old flatmate of the day got sacked for coming to work drunk and drinking on the job. Figured he would bend his mighty intellect to perpetuating a genius scam to get onto the disability pension. His cunning plan? Live on nothing but beer for 6 months. End up in the hospital for another month after nearly starving to death and be unable to get another job because of the brain damage caused by his newfound lifestyle. Well, he got his pension. Doesn't know what day it is. But oh yeah. He beat the system. My dad put his dinner on the couch and when he came back he sat on it. I had a friend who tried the deodorant challenge about 6 months ago. On his forehead. It left a scar that is still there clear as day. Seriously though. FCK challenges. Edit. To save any more poor souls from having to see the bloody images. The deodorant challenge is where you spray an aerosol onto a single part of skin at very close range for as long as you can. Any longer than 15 seconds and you could end up doing permanent damage. And by a minute you will probably have burnt your skin away all the way down to the bone. My friend did it for about 20 seconds and now has to apply cream regularly to prevent swelling or something. Not entirely sure why, to be honest. That's just what he told me. Probably to stop it from worsening though. I might ask him next time I see him. I remember all the challenges. People are dumb. Bunch of us were up camping. Fun afternoon. Beer. Frisbee. Campfire eats. Then one of the guys decides to show off to the girls by diving into a river without having first checked it out. There was a very large rock 2 feet under the surface. Instantly dead. One of my good friends is a pretty terrifying MMA fighter. But he's a sweet guy when he's not beating someone's ass for money. I witnessed a guy in a bar who fancied himself a tough guy. Knowing good and well that my friend is an absolute beast. Walk up to said friend's girlfriend. Stand behind her. Grab her tits. And yell, "You gonna fight me? Bitch?" PSSY ass bitch can't fight. That didn't end well for the booby grabber. My friend's long distance girlfriend of 4 months broke up with him for a guy 15 years older than both of them. He then quit his job and moved 4 hours away to her city with no job or housing lined up. With the intention of winning her back. My brother FCK his wife's sister and get her pregnant. Convert everyone to Mormonism. Assert dominance. He owed $100k in student loans combined for a BA and an MA in a field he couldn't find a job in. 4 years after grad school. He was still working a low-paying job he hated in an unrelated field. He was 45. With no assets to speak of. No savings. no retirement account, and had been living at his ex's house until they broke up. So he decides that was a good time to buy a house. I watched a friend decided to cheat on his girlfriend of 8 years with a stripper. At least he's not dating an 8-year-old anymore. Taking drugs to escape a painful reality. Sobering up to a worsening situation. Admitting that drugs were a stupid way to resolve problems. And taking more drugs again. Decades ago, when I was young and in the military, I went to a tattoo parlor. Do you youngins still call them tattoo parlors? With a guy from my unit. He got a tattoo on the top of his forearm. The tattoo was a cartoon cat with big block letters below it. The letters read good PSSY. Yeah. That was a bold move. We hip teens like to call it the ink rink. Former best friend asked for my honest assessment of her new boyfriend. Since I've known him longer. After telling her my truthful thoughts, he is a womanizing, arrogant douche-nozzle that's been baiting her with lies from day one. She thanked me. And then came to visit a week later. Announcing that she was moving 300 miles. Away from friends, family, and anyone she knows. To move in with him in a month. Yeah. We're not friends anymore. That kind of stupid has got to be contagious. A friend of mine dropped out of college to go on tour with a band. That lasted about a month. Was he in the band? You can always go back to college, but to chase a dream like that you must strike when the iron is hot. Unless he was just a roadie, in which case he's an idiot. I was waiting to buy a train ticket in Russia and a guy keeps walking by yelling that he will drive people to Moscow. It's hard to explain this guy. Imagine the most stereotypical Russian drunkard in your head and then go further. This guy was dirty, sweaty, unkempt, looked like he hadn't slept in 3 days and smelled like he had just finished a bender. So I'm thinking, who would be stupid enough to go with him? Enter our poor decision makers. When the driver yelled his offer again, these dudes looked at each other like Christmas came early and ran after him. When I finally got my ticket, I saw them all a couple of miles from the station, sharing a drink while the broken down engine cooled off. Then again, I waited 4 hours in a 12-person line to buy a train ticket. So maybe I was the one making stupid decisions. I saw someone in Crocs this morning. My sister, she make a mask for the face with lemon and baking soda. She did this many times, it made her face red, but it's usually okay. But this time, she put in the eye also. She read online that this make the white in the eye much more white, and if your eye color is black it make it very light brown. She put in one eye and it burned her eye. She is stupid, she didn't wash it immediately. She read online that if it burn it's good, it mean it's working. But after 5 minutes she wash it because the pain it's too much. Now that eye it has a cloud inside it. It looks very bad, the eye it's not clear, it has white thing inside it. Seen some girl try stop a car doing a burnout by going in and trying to grab the back wheel. Who is that f***ing stupid? Drops a bottle of soda on the ground. And then immediately opens it. I have seen a couple of friends do this in different occasions. And every time I just watch and think no. I saw a lad hole punch his thumb in class. We're friends now. Well, one time I asked a girl who was way out of my league for her phone number. I was in the third row of a test judo formation fighting some Shved Macedonians who were in a shamble of a pike formation that more closely resembled a glittering Greek all-male orgy. When one of the Greeks decided to take a break from getting pleasured where Jupiter does not govern and decided to charge in front of his own men's pikes. Needless to say, the man was trusted with a sputum and impaled. I used to work on electronics projects as a kid. I found it more convenient and quick to strip wire with my teeth. I did it one time on a circuit that was hot. OWWWWW. When I was a kid I used to check if there was any power in a 9V battery by pressing it on the tip of my tongue. It gives a slight fizz taste if the battery is okay. Not having a proper battery tester, this was the only way. One day I was trying to use a tape deck and it would work, so after checking the power cord was connected properly and still not working, I pulled the cord and pressed it to the tip of my tongue. I was not a smart kid. Anakin joining the dark side. At work I saw a young boy take his bottle of Pepsi and shake it vigorously. No idea why. I like how this is the worst decision you have ever seen someone make. A kid shaking a Pepsi bottle. Hey. Before you decide it was a bad decision, give it a moment. He could have been handing that Pepsi to his arch enemy. Getting pepper sprayed for $100. I have friends who let themselves be pepper sprayed for free. Just for the fun of it. Shitty. If $100 was at stake, I'd at least consider it. My friend deciding he was gonna have fun playing with the emotions of his psycho ex-girlfriend. Russell Wilson passing at the goal line in the final seconds of Super Bowl 49. Dropping out of college with 1 year left. Or a couple years. Because they got some average job that will probably not last forever. Some even went back and started all over again. One of my best friends decided when I was passing out drunk was a great time to get handsy. He was completely sober. A relative of mine has had 5 children and is pregnant with her 6th. The first one was a girl from a guy in another state. Second was with a man who she knew was still married and constantly kept her on the move and living in hotels. Those 2 girls now live with their grandparents. The next 2 were boys from a guy who did more drugs than her. Never kept a job. Killed her in a traffic accident and dragged her body into the driver's seat before fleeing. And almost beat her to death a couple other times. The state took those 2 boys. Now she's with a 4th guy. He won't keep a job. He's almost beat her to death a couple times. She has to work for them to have anything. And then he eats everything in the house as soon as she buys it. They've been homeless a few times. She's had 1 baby with him and is ecstatic that she's pregnant with another. I'm not sure what goes on in her head. Wait. Who died? I feel like I missed something there.